When I awoke, the story was nearing its end. The adored heroine, Lily, had won the love of everyone, my father, my brother John, and my fiancé James, while I lay dying in a hospital bed. Just before slipping into the coma written in this tale's pages, a figure materialized at my bedside. The boy, Ryan, radiated youthful arrogance, his gaze wild and untamed as he looked down at me with mocking amusement. "Did you forget about me?" he challenged. "Childhood bonds never break. Ivy. Let's go burn it all down." I was fading fast. On the day Lily exchanged vows with James, my former fiancé, my car had swerved into oncoming traffic. Not that he'd been mine for the past 3 days. James had stood before me with Lily clinging to his arm, declaring, "Love can't be forced. Ivy. I tried to make myself want you. But..." He trailed off meaningfully. Lily's tears fell like summer rain. "I'm so sorry," she'd hiccuped, her delicate features crumpling. "The Wilsons raised me. I know I should be grateful. But James and I..." She'd pressed a trembling hand to her heart. "We're soulmates. I can't give him up." I'd stared blankly at their performance. If they wanted to break off the corporate merger between our families, shouldn't they be pleading with the board members? Then again, my so-called father and brother John would always side with Lily. That very night, John had waved off the scandal with a CEO's smirk. "Lily's a Wilson too. The Davis-Peter alliance works either way, no need to cancel the wedding. Just have her walk down the aisle instead." Within 48 hours, my ivory gown became Lily's costume. My chosen venue transformed into her stage. They even tried forcing me to attend the spectacle. Fate intervened, with twisted chrome and shattering glass. Now my spirit hovered near the ER ceiling, watching nurses scramble around my broken body. Minor injuries. "But she's not fighting," a doctor barked. "Any family reached?" A nurse scrolled through my phone. "Calling her brother now." The speakerphone crackled with John's icy tone before she finished speaking. "What melodramatic stunt are you pulling this time, Ivy? Skipping Lily's big day won't make James want you." His laugh chilled the sterile air. "Play dead all you want. No one's." The nurse disconnected in panic. Machines wailed as my vital signs plummeted. My spectral form grew heavy, the truth crushing what remained of my will. This was always how the story went, Lily as the radiant protagonist, me as the discarded shadow. Why did their betrayal still carve fresh wounds? As darkness threatened to consume me, a voice shattered the void, "Ivy Wilson," followed by a nurse's skeptical assessment. "You're the brother? Doesn't look like family to me." The teenager froze for a moment before erupting. "Who's her good-for-nothing jerk of a brother? Tell her Ryan is back. If she can't sleep, she should get up and walk around. I'll take her back to settle this." "Ryan?" My foggy mind struggled before finally placing the name. But how could he be back? John and I were once close. Then Lily arrived. She wasn't a Davis then, I can't recall her original surname. All I remember was that fragile 16-year-old trembling like blossom buds in spring breeze, peeking at us from behind my father. "John. Ivy." My father smiled awkwardly. "This is Lily. Her mother passed away last month. I thought she could keep you company." Before I could speak, John sneered. "Stop pretending, Mr. Smith. Everyone knows you were fooling around with your precious Emily while Mom was still alive." His glacial stare pinned Lily. "This so-called orphan's actually your love child with that homewrecker, isn't she?" Lily turned ghostly pale. My father stammered. "John, how could you?" "Save it." John cut him off. "A man who married into the Wilson family can't even mooch properly. Pathetic." He gave Lily one last contemptuous look before storming upstairs. We couldn't stand Lily, yet couldn't expel her. Being underage and with John newly inducted into Wilson Enterprises, our shares remained under father's control. We lacked the means to oppose. Next morning at breakfast, Father proposed granting Lily the Wilson surname. John slammed his chopsticks down. Don't push your luck. Let your bastard keep the Smith name, don't tarnish Mom's legacy. Terrified sobs shook Lily's frame. But John's expression remained frostier than midwinter. Back then, I truly believed we'd always hate this intruder. What I didn't know, Lily was the protagonist of some sickening harem novel where everyone eventually adores her. Even John. That year, 16-year-old me entered high school earlier than Lily. While Father bribed schools to admit his underqualified darling, I prepared for my first provincial math Olympiad. Numbers had always been my sanctuary, the crisp logic of equations far cleaner than family drama. Most students treated junior year competitions as practice runs, reserving senior year for college admissions battles. But I needed to graduate early, to secure my foothold in Wilson Enterprises before Lily could sink her claws deeper. Thus began my dual existence, model student by day, Olympiad warrior by night. While I raced against time, Lily fluttered about like some carefree sparrow. She started bombarding John with nightly milk deliveries at 10 p.m. sharp. John initially ignored her persistent knocking, but Lily's determination outlasted his resistance, 30 relentless minutes of door pounding every night. The rhythmic thuds grated my nerves raw, each knock echoing the countdown to my unraveling. One day John was so annoyed that he flung the door open, snatched the milk carton from Lily's hands and gulped it down in one go. Happy now? I drank it all. Can you please stop bothering me? His words were harsh, but Lily simply smiled brighter. What I hadn't realized then was that a single moment of weakness would lead to endless compromises. Lily suddenly noticed me standing at my bedroom doorway across the hall. She turned with exaggerated care. Ivy, I forgot you were here too. Do you want some milk? I'll bring yours tomorrow. Okay? I crossed my arms. I don't want your milk. I came out to ask you to keep the noise down. I'm studying for an important exam and need quiet. Her bottom lip trembled. Understood. John watched our exchange silently, his gaze lingering on my doorframe where the first aid kit usually hung. He said nothing. Lily's understanding proved temporary. At 12 o'clock and 6 minutes a.m. the next night, persistent knocking jerked me from sleep. I found her clutching another steaming cup. It helps you sleep, she offered. My patience snapped. I told you I don't want it. I've already brushed my teeth. Drink it yourself. When I pushed the cup away, boiling liquid splashed across her forearm. Her scream brought John running. What now? He demanded, though his eyes darted to my empty nightstand where medication should have been. I stood frozen as he applied burn ointment to Lily's reddened skin. After 7 sleepless nights, I announced my decision at dinner. I'm renting an apartment off campus. John's fork clattered. Is this really necessary? My answer never wavered. The math competition was my ticket out. I couldn't risk distractions. My new studio became a sanctuary, surrounded by driven peers like James. I thrived. You're brilliant, Ivy, James said during our late-night study sessions, eyes shining with admiration. When you win nationals, your father will finally see who's really worth his pride. The victory came sweeter than expected. Youngest state team member, national gold medalist. But my triumphant return home revealed unsettling changes. Sunshine glinted off the mansion's windows, illuminating a lavish banquet spread across the lawn. Inside, every surface bore traces of Lily's presence, her pastel sweaters draped over my mother's antique chaise. Vanilla-scented candles replacing Dad's customary sandalwood incense. When the butler David saw me return, his face immediately lit up as he gestured for other staff to inform John. Before long, John emerged. I didn't ask whose banquet this was for, simply removing my backpack to show him the contract inside. John flipped through the pages, though I sensed his apparent cheerfulness didn't match his true mood. Miss Ivy, he asked, signing this means you're guaranteed admission to the Ivy League. doesn't it? At my nod, he continued, will you enroll this year? Perhaps wait until senior year? You're only a sophomore now. I'm going, I interrupted. Graduating college a year earlier means I can help at the corporation sooner. John's prolonged silence ended with a strained smile. Go then. The board's been eager for your graduation anyway. He shoved the contract back at me. Just don't let Lily see this. Her midterms didn't go well. And today's when she officially takes the Davis name. Don't ruin her moment. I froze mid-step. You're letting her become Lily Davis? It's just a surname. John shrugged. Let the social climbers have their trophy. The ominous finality of his words hung unacknowledged between us. I never imagined I'd wake again, not after fulfilling my role as the vindictive rival destined for oblivion. Yet through the void, Ryan's familiar teasing voice persisted, reading some absurd fairy tale about magic barley seeds. Rod. This story's ancient. She's heard it a million. Old doesn't mean ineffective, countered Rod. Look, she's awake. Ryan whirled around. Our eyes meeting. His Adam's apple bobbed before he managed. Took you long enough. Ivy. His rasp mirrored my sandpaper throat. When I struggled to sit up, he supported me to drink, his calloused footballer's hands steadying the glass. Don't tell me you've forgotten me after. Ryan began counting on his fingers dramatically before I laughed hoarsely. Ryan. As if I could. The official narrative claims James and I grew up together. That I never understood him like Lily does. Lies. I met James at 16. Ryan, whose family owned the Adams sportswear empire, was my actual childhood neighbor. Academically hopeless but football prodigy Ryan, who left for Spanish club trials at 13. Ryan, who became England's highest-paid striker while I navigated corporate politics and math Olympiads. We'd been textbook childhood friends turned strangers. Until this improbable reunion in a sterile hospital room. His jersey number still glowed on my nightstand screen, game highlights playing on mute. Some things, apparently, even plotlines couldn't erase. Throughout all the storylines, Ryan had never even been named. Yet to me, he remained the flesh and blood person I genuinely interacted with for over a decade. I just never imagined he'd return. After drinking my fill of water, I leaned against the hospital bed frame. Why did you come back? Before Ryan could answer, Rod beside him interjected. Miss Ivy. It's the off-season. Ryan rushed back from overseas when he heard about your engagement. Only to find. His voice trailed off meaningfully before brightening. Ah. Where are my manners? I'm Rodrigo Martinez. Formerly a reporter at The Sun and now Ryan's personal assistant. Ryan impatiently shoved him aside. Stop bothering her. If you're so bored, go buy a fruit basket downstairs. Rod left with exaggerated reluctance. Ryan dragged a stool to my bedside, studying me intently. Ivy, he finally said. Are you seriously letting some illegitimate daughter push you around? Get well faster. When you do, we'll storm back in style. I met his gaze silently for several heartbeats. Ryan, I finally said. Should I trust you? He raised an eyebrow. What's that supposed to mean? A few years apart and I'm suddenly untrustworthy? I pressed my lips together. My doubt wasn't about him, but this entire storybook world crafted to worship Lily. James had made similar promises before meeting Lily. The moment she appeared, every vow dissolved into accusations of me being unreasonable. Rod returned then with a fruit basket. Ryan rummaged through it and produced a crimson apple. The peeling ritual felt almost ceremonial. Just as I expected him to offer me the fruit. He sliced off a sliver and tasted it himself. This mealy garbage? He glared at Rod. She's hated soft apples since childhood. Get the crisp ones. The casual familiarity pierced through my defenses, threatening to unleash tears I'd sworn to contain. I spent hours recounting everything to Ryan. By the time I finished, moonlight silvered the window. Rod snored softly on the couch. My car crash wasn't accidental, I stated, watching Ryan's expression sharpen. It happened on June 12th. David took my car for maintenance on the 10th. 2 days later, the brakes failed. Ryan's knuckles whitened around the bed rail. You think David? I need to test him at the Wilson estate. There's also something I must retrieve. At this, Ryan perked up. He yanked Rod upright. Investigations are his specialty. The Sun might be toilet paper for transfer news, but for digging up dirt, top tier. Rod straightened with mock offense. Toilet paper? Our experts. He caught Ryan's glare and bowed theatrically. For the lovely lady. I'll uncover every secret. Expect results soon. Discharged days later. I found myself idling in hospital corridors while Ryan handled paperwork. The elevator ding interrupted my pacing. Our Lily might look delicate, but she's actually... The familiar voice froze me mid-turn. John stood there, fingers combing through Lily's hair as he told James. If you hurt this sweet sister of mine. The scene crystallized, John's protective stance. Lily's demure smile. James's attentive nod, a perfect family portrait where I'd become the smudged fingerprint at the edge. Standing beside the delicate figure of Lily were my father and James. My gaze fell on the medical reports in their hands and the faint smiles on their faces. Quickly deducing they'd accompanied Lily for her premarital checkup. They noticed me immediately, freezing mid-step. The group instinctively shielded Lily. When did you wake up? John demanded first. Frowning at me. Ivy. Why'd you follow us here? James spoke almost simultaneously. We weren't going to confront you about missing the engagement party. But you need to stop harassing me. There's no future for us. Crossing my arms, I coldly surveyed them. Let me clarify, I didn't track you to the hospital. I came for my own checkup. And James? Need I remind you that you're the one who cheated with Lily behind my back? We've only met once since then. When exactly have I harassed you? In your delusional fantasies? James flushed, taking several moments before retorting. Still that sharp tongue. You haven't changed since high school. John tugged his sleeve. Why waste breath? Turning to me, he snapped. Since you're here about the company project. If you care about preserving Mom's legacy, withdraw immediately. I'm assigning someone new. It took me a moment to realize he meant the activewear collection I'd spearheaded before the accident. Our family's design firm had secured this major contract with the Peters 6 months prior. Even with my brief absence, the team shouldn't have encountered irreparable issues unless... The new person is Lily. Isn't it? I stared them down. John's expression flickered before hardening. So what if it is? As the future Mrs. Peter. She's perfect for this role. Competence determines leadership. I countered. If you're so confident, let her form her own team. We'll both present designs to Grace for final selection. The mention of James' exacting aunt silenced them momentarily. Lily finally spoke. Eyes glistening. Ivy, you're putting me in an impossible position. Aunt Grace practically raised you. She'll naturally favor your work. Before the men could protest, a familiar drawl interrupted. Damn. This hospital's livelier than Times Square. Ryan swaggered over, discharge papers in hand, slinging an arm over my shoulders. He smirked at the group. Got no decency? This ain't your living room. Sick people need quiet, or you trying to kill them faster? His logic was flawed. The VIP wing currently only had me as patient, but Lily took the bait. But Ivy's talking too. She sniffled. Ryan fake winced. Difference is, Ivy's voice is music. Yours? Nails on chalkboard. As Lily burst into tears, James tightened his grip on her, eyeing Ryan's arm around me. Who exactly is this? Ivy? Ryan answered before I could. Her one and only childhood best friend. He emphasized each word, grinning as James' knuckles whitened around Lily's waist. Lily's tears halted in surprise. We grew up together. I've never seen you before, James said flatly. Ryan checked his phone dramatically. You met at 16, that's not childhood. Rich boy. Now if you'll excuse us. He turned to me. These morons are giving me hives. Let's bounce. After a beat. I nodded firmly. Outside, Ryan hailed a ride while casually asking, You mad about how I handled that back there? I shook my head. No, Ryan. You've expressed yourself exceptionally well. After all these years apart, your sharp tongue hasn't dulled one bit. I genuinely enjoyed it. My fingers brushed against the condensation on my lemonade glass. Growing up with rigorous elite education never taught me how to argue properly. Every confrontation makes me instinctively shift into debate mode, leaving me utterly drained afterward. But you. I gestured at him. You don't play by logic. Your words come out like rapid-fire nonsense. Yet listening to you bicker feels strangely therapeutic. Ryan tapped his phone screen, glancing up. Ordering a ride. Where to? You're not planning to return to that house, are you? Never again. The words left me like expelled poison. A place harboring threats to my life held no appeal. Though I added, but I need to retrieve something. Ryan. You. His eyes lit up before I finished. What? You think I'd let you go alone? I spent 16 goddamn stories waking you up from that coma. If those snakes try anything again. The late afternoon sun caught the determined flare of his nostrils. That trademark athlete's intensity momentarily stealing my breath. As we approached the Wilson estate, our family butler David emerged. His fleeting panic-stricken glance confirming my suspicions about the accidental car crash. I nudged Rod with my elbow. The investigator immediately engaging David in loud football banter while Ryan barked orders at the staff. Alone in my childhood bedroom, I dragged the step stool to the mahogany bookshelf. Dust motes swirled around leather-bound classics as I reached for the hidden steel box behind them. The silver flash drive glinted reassuringly in my palm. Hey! Ivy! Ryan's shout pierced the stillness. Leaning out the window, I found him standing knee-deep in hydrangeas. The sprawling lawn behind him dotted with blooms we'd planted to replace thorny roses years ago. He pointed at the gnarled apple tree. That's the sapling I brought back from Barcelona. Right? When I was 16 and sulking about being benchwarmer for the senior team? Without waiting for confirmation, he plowed on. Coach made me take that stupid trip for perspective. Ended up at St. George's Festival crowds, everyone swapping roses and books. Got you the biggest damn plant I could carry. It's an apple tree. I reminded him, smiling despite myself. Apples flower too. Smart ass. He retorted. Then sobered. The cat, the silver tabby kitten I sent with the tree, is she. The memory hit like gut punch. Gone. My throat tightened. John had her destroyed while I was at Math Olympiad training. That silver, striped fur matted with blood. The security footage I'd hidden in this very drive, it had been the beginning of my Cold War against the Wilsons. Ryan's jaw muscle jumped. For all his soccer fame and adoring fans, that boyish rage still burned undimmed, a stark contrast to the polished young airs I'd grown up with. His hand found mine, calloused from years gripping football cleats. Let's burn this place down on our way out. The drive warmed against my chest as we walked away. Hydrangea petals catching in our hair like confetti. That was the first time I ever lost my temper with John as far as I could remember. I confronted him with red-rimmed eyes, demanding why he'd done it. To my surprise, he shrugged casually. It clawed Lily's hand badly. Deserved to be put down. His gaze flickered over me. I know you don't like Lily. But did you really have to use an innocent animal? The truth was, Lily hadn't been scratched at all. My cat had always been docile, never initiating contact. Even during my competition trips, I'd meticulously arranged for the housekeeper to groom and trim its claws regularly. The supposed incident happened right after its nail trimming session. Those claws couldn't have left deep, jagged wounds even if it tried. If John had simply asked, I would have told him about the security cameras. The footage would have revealed everything. But he'd condemned me without even a phone call. My suspicions solidified that night when Lily appeared at my bedroom door with warm congee. Perched on my bed with feigned concern, she murmured, Ivy, don't blame yourself about the cat. I'm fine now. Those weren't cat scratches, I stated coldly. Her mask slipped for a heartbeat before she smiled. Dad and John care about me so much. The unspoken words hung heavy. Their care meant dismissing me repeatedly. My allergies acted up every time it made noise. She added casually. But my cat had been quiet except during our playtimes. Was she implying I annoyed her? When our eyes met, I caught a flicker of something sharper than malice beneath her demure gaze, the look of someone testing whether I'd glimpsed dangerous secrets during those garden play sessions. This wasn't about a pet. The dead cat was a warning. My fingers brushed the USB drive in my pocket. Maybe this game just got interesting. Ryan listened silently to my account, his hand twitching like he wanted to comfort me. Hey, are you crying? I touched my cheek, surprised by the moisture. I failed to protect it. After a long pause, Ryan suddenly grinned. Wanna hug a cat? Before I could react, he yanked down his hoodie to reveal a custom-printed tee and American short hair mirroring the one he'd gifted me. Borrow my shirt, cat. Free cuddles if you stop crying? Idiot. I snorted despite myself. His antics lifted the gloom momentarily. While packing the mansion, reality struck. I hadn't arranged housing. Scrolling through my properties, I noted most apartments were leased to team members at friend rates. The USB weighed heavier in my palm with each passing second. This is another way to win people over. Several suburban villas were too far away, making it inconvenient to haul all the luggage there. As I pondered, a lazy teenage voice came from beside me. Hey, Ivy, wanna do me a favor? I turned to see Ryan leaning against the car window, idly flipping through my old high school competition prep book. The pages rustled loudly, though he clearly wasn't reading. Most properties were sold during my years abroad, he said, gesturing vaguely. I'm renting a 3,000 square foot penthouse downtown now. The rent's nearly $5,000 monthly. Wanna split it? The suggestion was absurd. As one of soccer's top athletes earning over £500,000 weekly, plus his family's multinational brand empire, Ryan could never lack money. I suddenly realized he was awkwardly offering me housing to ease my predicament. When I stayed silent, he added hastily, too pricey? How about I cover 90%? My throat tightened as I met his gaze. Ryan. Thank you. He waved the textbook. Then trade me this. Fair exchange. No losses. The apartment lights revealed a meowing American short hair twining around my ankles. My heart clenched as I looked up. Ryan explained offhandedly, same litter as the kitten I gave you. Mama only had 2. Kept this one myself. Apologizing silently to the cat for losing her sister. I stroked her glossy fur. Feed her while I make your bed, Ryan instructed. That night, restlessness drove me toward the balcony. Peering through my cracked door, I found Ryan crouched by the cat tree in darkness, murmuring, tomorrow morning, when she emerges, go cheer her up. Okay? No noise now. Do this and I'll make those Manchester-style treats again. Fair deal. Something warm bloomed in my chest. The cooling breeze I'd longed for at 16, after crossing Mediterranean waves and Eurasian plains, finally reached my 22-year-old heart. I woke past 10 next morning. When I reached for my laptop after breakfast, Ryan snapped, Ivy. No work. Noticing my frown, He softened. You just recovered. The family business can wait. Suspicious. I grabbed his face-up phone from the couch before he could react. His Twitter feed glared back #Eris's secret crush comes true and #stories villainous both trending. My expression froze as I clicked into exposés about Lily's teenage diaries. The threads detailed a girl's 16-year devotion to her shining crush. She'd followed him doggedly despite their growing disparity, even sacrificing Ivy League chances to attend his local college. Their fairy tale romance was supposedly nearing marriage until the villainess, her sister, interfered. This sister wasn't just jealous of her perfect romance, she'd led multiple bullying campaigns against her during high school. Worse yet, she deliberately skipped their engagement party to humiliate them. I read through the heartfelt blog post thoroughly. With a swipe, I reached the top trending hashtag where comments gleefully exclaimed, "Fam." I dug up that toxic bitch's Twitter, followed by it mentions of my personal account. Ivy. Ryan looked conflicted, reaching for my phone. I dodged his hand and clicked into my profile. As anticipated, thousands of hateful comments flooded beneath my latest landscape photo post. How shameless can you be? They're the golden couple while you're just the pathetic clown. Ivy. Stop reading. Ryan forcibly confiscated my phone, pressing my face against his chest while roughly smoothing my hair. I took deep breaths. Feeling no self-pity, you can't frame someone for crimes they didn't commit. After calming down, I made calls to investigate the trending scandal. Predictably, the hashtag had been boosted since midnight, securing top positions by morning. The masterminds became instantly clear. James and John were both involved. A perfect love story could elevate the Peters corporate image, while tarnishing mine would weaken my standing against John. Rod paced our living room furiously during his impromptu visit. I don't get it, how could they do this? Aren't they family? Profit-driven people don't have families. I replied flatly. Ryan ruffled his messy hair irritably. Rod. Any PR crisis experience? Some. Ideally we'd produce exonerating evidence. But without preparation, the rumor mill would have spread too far. We need bigger news to overshadow this. The affair rumor's easier, just prove you were originally engaged to James. But bullying allegations, even with witness testimonies. They'll claim you bribed everyone. Rod watched me worriedly. I smirked, placing a flash drive on the coffee table. Here's proof against the affair rumor. As for bullying, Lily really skipped all her classes, leaving such obvious loopholes. My laugh turned icy. As hateful comments flooded in, surveillance footage suddenly went viral internationally. Ryan had posted multi-angle videos on his Instagram with caption, "Who ordered the soap opera plot?" followed by 6 shocked emojis. As a World Cup athlete currently playing in Europe's top 5 football leagues with over 200 million followers, his post exploded globally before being reposted domestically. The courtyard footage told everything, a delicate beauty accidentally meeting a gentle youth under flower arches. Initially aloof, the boy softened under her adoring gaze. Hello Lily. Need math help? Summer days saw them strolling through gardens, him tenderly removing leaves from her hair. Then the plot twisted. One afternoon, the red-eyed youth cornered her against walls. You went out with that guy from your class? None of your business, she whispered fearfully. The hell it isn't. He kissed her violently before declaring, Now I know, I love you. Lily. The girl sobbed. Please don't do this. You're Ivy's fiancé. We shouldn't. Stop mentioning her. The young man's voice turned bitter. Ivy, just got into the state team a year earlier. Secured her spot a year sooner. Why does she always have to act so cold and superior? I can't stand her. He pulled the trembling girl closer. Lily. It's you I love. You're the one I want. Their embrace became a recurring spectacle on social media, stolen kisses at competitions, intimate whispers caught on camera. Yet every tender moment carried the ghost of a third person. James. I think Ivy glared at me today. Does she suspect something? James. Shouldn't we be at Ivy's birthday dinner instead? The viral video revealing James and Lily's relationship exploded across platforms. What netizens initially romanticized as innocent puppy love now unraveled as a tawdry affair. Investigations exposed Lily's background. This Lily was taken in by the Wilsons after her family's bankruptcy, repaying their kindness by seducing their daughter's fiancé? Disgusting. Comments flooded in, homewrecker. Calling someone else's fiancé bro every other word. Does his fart smell like roses to you? Others argued, sure Lily's wrong. But doesn't change that Ivy's a bully. What if this is Lily's revenge? The narrative shifted when my high school's official account released records proving timeline inconsistencies. Lily entered our school a year after I'd moved to the specialized academic campus. By her sophomore year, I'd already left for college. Her claims of me leading book-ripping and water-throwing harassment? Physically impossible. Never cracked a textbook in high school. I remarked to colleagues reviewing the evidence. Too busy fabricating stories about me while chasing after James. During the social media storm, I visited the Addams family's equestrian estate. Ryan trailed behind like an overeager puppy until I shooed him off to the stables. Grace, James' aunt and current CEO contender, received me in her tea lounge. The 32-year-old poured oolong with hands better suited for boardroom bowels than porcelain. Straight to business. I see. She smiled when I stated my proposal. Your sister Lily wants this contract too. As potential future Mrs. Peter. She's got family leverage. Beyond the glass walls. Ryan clumsily mounted a chestnut mare before being corrected by stable manager Rod. I turned back to Grace. My designs outperform Lily's. Plus, I slid a flash drive across the teak table. This contains security footage of James and Lily's initial encounter. Useful for certain boardroom discussions. No? Her manicured nail tapped the drive. And your second offering? Ryan as brand ambassador. His Olympic potential could triple your sportswear profits. Grace's laughter carried genuine delight. You've done your homework. Ivy. She inserted the drive. Our reflections warping in the monitor's blue glow as compromising footage began playing, the exact moment James first kissed Lily in his father's study. Grace Peter chuckled dismissively. I've seen that clip. At most, it'll tarnish those two's reputations slightly. To truly wound James requires more. I shook my head, dragging the video to its latter segment. Aunt Grace. This is my real gift for you. The part Ryan's leak didn't include, the true reason Lily killed my cat to intimidate me. The secret she desperately tried to bury. Grace's expression hardened. After concluding business with Grace, I visited the equestrian club. Ryan shot me a challenging look. Ivy. Care for a riding competition? Most in our social circle dabbled in so-called aristocratic pursuits, equestrianism being chief among them. Seeing the youthful defiance in his eyes, I immediately summoned a groom to saddle my horse. Rod materialized like a specter. Ryan. Don't make me your scapegoat. If you break your leg riding, the team manager and coach will skin me alive. Remember that Bundesliga goalkeeper who wrecked his knee skiing? Horses are 10 times more dangerous. And didn't the owner hint at our Champions League triple next season? Post-World Cup. Every star player will be exhausted except you, our club's golden hope. As Rod's rant continued, I finally interrupted. Wait here. Ryan. I'll just take a couple laps. His wounded puppy stare followed me as I mounted. The crisp wind whipped past my ears, the same exhilaration I'd craved since childhood when demanding the wildest stallions from instructors. Back then, fellow riders mocked my ambitions. Young Ryan, still mediocre in skills yet fiercely loyal, would shout, "You avoid spirited horses because you're weak." Ivy's strong. Now grown. Ryan still cheered from the sidelines. When I galloped past, he bellowed, "Hey, Ivy. You ride, freaking amazing." My laughter mingled with hoofbeats. En route home, drowsiness overtook me. I vaguely recall my head dipping onto Ryan's shoulder. His instructions to Rod about adjusting the AC. The weight of a blanket settling over my legs. Half conscious. I heard his murmured wisdom, the weak flaunt compassion for weaker souls to feel mighty. Your father cherishes Lily as his secret love child. John pampers her as no threat to his inheritance. James adores her worshipful gaze. But you, his finger brushed a stray hair from my face. You're the stallion tamer who makes them insecure. Those worthy will stay loyal, haters aren't worth appeasing. You're not flawed, you're extraordinary. Days after the storm, John called. Ivy. Did you orchestrate that trending scandal? Weariness thickened his voice. I chuckled coolly, if you're asking instead of investigating. You already know. For the record. I didn't purchase, netizens organically boosted it. After strained silence, he pleaded, the backlash is uncontainable. Our corporate accounts are drowning. Help me. Sis. Attend Lily's wedding press conference next month? Clarify things? Mom's legacy. My gaze fell on documents Rod delivered earlier, evidence of John bribing David to skip my car maintenance. Hiring mechanics to sabotage the engine. A mirthless laugh escaped. You really want me there? Brother? His eager assurances hung in the air as I hung up. Re-examining the damning papers. I barely registered Ryan's approach until he asked, Ivy. What will you do now? The choice was clear, swallow my pride to protect the company's reputation. Or expose John's crimes regardless of consequences. I took a deep breath and declared firmly. We're calling the police. This can't be ignored. Ryan chuckled and nudged me with his elbow. That's the Ivy I know. Never taking any crap or swallowing injustice. Rod suddenly interjected with an odd expression. While investigating this, I discovered another gambler in the mix. You'll never guess who. On James and Lily's wedding day, I sat calmly in the audience watching the perfect couple exchange vows and kiss. When John took the podium as the bride's brother, his speech turned ominous after the standard warnings to the groom. Today, while celebrating my dear sister's happiness, John's gaze locked onto me as camera crews swiveled their lenses. I must address recent online rumors. Ryan instinctively moved to shield me, but I stepped forward resolutely. Adjusting the microphone, I addressed the journalists. The rumors about James being my ex-fiancé who betrayed me with Lily? That's not the real story. John visibly relaxed until I continued. It's merely the tip of the iceberg. Our voices overlapped. What are you doing? John hissed, face draining of color as I revealed. The real reason I missed their engagement party? The giant screen behind us flickered from wedding photos to a hospital admission record. I was hospitalized after a car accident that day. You're lying. John lunged for the microphone as damning evidence unfolded, security footage of him bribing David to sabotage my car. Financial records of hired accomplices. The room erupted in chaos. Camera shutters clicking frantically. Have you gone mad? John whispered desperately. You're destroying the company's reputation. I stared coldly at him. You knew the risks when you tried to have me killed. Your crimes don't get to hide behind corporate loyalty. The courtroom doors burst open as police officers marched in, passing my pale brother. I murmured, "You've failed as heir. Watch how it's done properly." After John's arrest and our father's collapse, the board's emergency call came. Your recklessness has damaged us irreparably, a director accused when I entered the tense conference room. Damaged? I took the head seat. The public wants justice, not cover-ups. Keep your dividends flowing, does it matter who signs the checks? A shareholder tentatively asked. You mean, prosecute John, compensate the victim. That's the resolution people demand. I leaned forward, the Wilson family's future crystallizing in every word. And I am that victim. Moreover, I clasped my hands together, sweeping a solemn gaze across the boardroom. Since childhood, I've consistently outperformed John. Elect me as your new CEO. and I'll deliver returns far exceeding previous benchmarks. That evening, I hosted a live-streamed press conference. With trembling emotion, I reminisced about our shared childhood and teenage years with John, choking up as I expressed bewilderment at how our once close sibling bond had deteriorated. Between scripted pauses, I skimmed the live chat comments flooding the screen. My heart aches for her. Corporate family power struggles are brutal. No wonder her brother felt threatened by someone this capable. I flashed a practiced brave smile before pivoting to our brand's founding principles, concluding with a public apology for the media spectacle. When announcing my CEO appointment, the chat erupted. Yes! Nothing beats a strong female lead storyline. National competition gold medalist? Queen behavior. Daughters deserve equal inheritance rights. After stabilizing company operations, I received a summons to the Wilson estate. My father sat slumped on the sofa, his aged appearance barely resembling the imposing figure who'd constantly dismissed me while coddling Lily. I took the adjacent seat, waiting. His trembling hands reached toward my hair. I leaned away. Ivy, I failed your mother. But Lily's innocent. I maintained silence, smiling faintly. John's situation. His voice broke. You're our only hope now. Please. Of course. I beamed. We'll consult Lily about rescuing John tomorrow. Tears spilled down his weathered cheeks. You, John and I, we don't deserve. 2 days later, I escorted my cane-dependent father through the corporate building service entrance. Lily's administrative assistant directed us to the design department break room, where we waited through 3 tea refills until stiletto clicks echoed outside. My father brightened, lurching toward the door. Before we could turn the knob, Lily's shrill voice pierced through. Dad? How did you? An unfamiliar male voice interrupted. The loan sharks are back. $30,000. Quick! Again? Lily snapped coldly. Sell a kidney or whatever. Don't contact me. You're Mrs. James now. Ask your fancy husband. James would disown me if he knew some con artist faked my paternity papers. Our deal's over. The color drained from my father's face. He collapsed like a marionette with severed strings. Dad! I cried theatrically, dialing 911 with steady fingers. The dual betrayals from his golden children triggered a massive stroke. After hospital admission formalities, I visited the detention center. John's hollow eyes tracked my movements through the plexiglass. When did you figure out the car crash? I sighed. The moment I woke up and saw your face, brother. I stood up and paced around the room. When I first arrived at the hospital, the nurse called you. You didn't even let her finish before hanging up. Later when Ryan came, the hospital stopped contacting you altogether. You shouldn't have known about my coma from the car accident. James only mentioned my unexpected appearance here. Yet your first question was about me waking up. My eyes narrowed as I observed him from across the room. Your acting has gotten worse over the years, John. At least when we were children. I truly believed you loved me. John let out a bitter laugh. I did love you back then. You were my only sister. But you. He buried his face in his hands, voice cracking. Ivy. You had to be perfect at everything. Why couldn't you be more like Lily? Why did you have to compete with me? I approached the trembling figure and spread a blank document on the table. Remember how you taught me to write my name after Mom died? My pen scratched against the paper as I meticulously formed Ivy Wilson. John's glazed eyes followed my movements, his hand instinctively tracing John Wilson beside mine. How did we end up like this? Ivy? Snapping my pen shut, I coldly declared. You should have prayed I never woke up after what you did. Confusion flashed across his face until he noticed the document in my bag. Protecting your signature is business 101. I stated. Even in our most vulnerable moment. His corporate trained sister had outmaneuvered him again. The veins on John's neck bulged as I walked away without a backward glance. After finalizing the stock transfer agreement bearing John's forged signature, I returned to the hospital. Doctors advised terminating life support for our father, citing astronomical costs and suffering. Continue treatment. I insisted tearfully, brandishing the legal documents. I'll sell all my shares if needed. The physicians praised my filial devotion, unaware our comatose father had seen the damning paperwork through half-closed eyes. His ventilator hissed violently as I sweetly promised, "I'll visit again soon, Dad." Outside the ICU, Ryan waited with a carrier containing our tabby cat. "Should call me brother but her," he murmured to the curious feline before springing to attention at my approach. "All set?" he asked, falling into step beside me. "Damn, Ivy. This whole scheme. I wanted to help. But you didn't need me. Even the stuff with Rod, any decent PI or influencer could have exposed it." I stopped abruptly. "You think you're useless?" My gaze softened. "Ryan, you gave me something no one else could." "What? Entertainment value?" he scoffed. "No." My throat tightened. "Light. In the original trajectory of my life, I was destined for endless darkness. But Ryan immune to others' manipulations. True to his word, had burned through the shadows. His steadfast loyalty became my compass when I doubted my own reality. As we walked through the hospital gardens, Ryan suddenly brightened. "If I'm so useful, does that mean you'll keep me?" "Define keep," I teased, laughing at his exasperated groan. When summer waned, I booked a flight to Europe for my first live football match. The boarding pass sat beside 2 tickets, though I hadn't decided who'd occupy the second seat yet. Before boarding, Grace called me. "Ivy, James and Lily are at each other's throats now," she said. I hummed in acknowledgement, unsurprised. A month earlier, Grace had used information I provided, the final segment of the video showing Lily's biological father demanding money, to set a trap. Predictably, Lily stole James' bidding documents to sell to competitors, hoping to buy her father's silence. She got caught red-handed. The Peter family shareholders began questioning James' decision to switch fiancés and his leadership capabilities. Grace seized the opportunity, replacing James as the heir apparent. The patriarchs decided to transfer James to our provincial branch next quarter. Grace continued. "He's furious, blaming Lily for dragging him down. Claims he'd never have fallen this low if he'd married you instead." Lily shot back about his insecurity, said his jealousy over your academic achievements and natural leadership made him settle for her. Grace chuckled darkly. "Watching these two tear each other apart is almost poetic." I checked my watch. "Aunt Grace, there's no need to update me about them anymore. Their drama holds zero relevance to my life now. I'm finally pursuing what truly matters." Game day dawned cloudless, rare for the season. The city derby drew record crowds, the first half unfolding as a tense stalemate until the 23rd minute. Ryan broke through with a stunning 25-yard strike. Just before halftime, he intercepted a cross-field pass, dribbled past 3 defenders, and slotted home for 2-0. The second half saw both teams net additional goals, finalizing a 3-1 home victory. 80,000 fans erupted as the whistle blew, their chants shaking the stadium foundations. While teammates began victory laps, Ryan sprinted toward my VIP box. He ripped off his jersey, revealing a white undershirt with bold black lettering, "Only Ivy." The stadium gasped as global broadcast cameras swiveled to capture the moment. Unfazed by the roaring crowd now blending team anthems with romantic ballads, Ryan locked eyes with me through the sea of fluttering banners. Amid the chaos, his Mandarin declaration cut through clearly, "Childhood companions never betray. Ryan Adams will always love Ivy Wilson."